Good afternoon. You're watching the big story here on Mirror Now. My name is Apurva Sridhar. Let's begin with our top focus story coming in at this hour. Yet another tale of brutality once again coming in from the state of Uttar Pradesh. This time it is coming in from the Gorakhpur district, where a teenage girl was in fact allegedly raped and singed with cigarette butts by two men. Now the teenager had gone to fetch water from a hand pump when these two accused forcibly took her to a nearby hut near a pond in the village on a motorcycle and then allegedly raped her. They also tortured the girl by inflicting severe burn injuries on her with cigarette butts when she fell unconscious. The two accused have now been arrested for raping the girl. In fact, these horrific details that have come in at this point, we are also given to understand that the SSP of Gorakhpur was shunted out hours after this incident was reported. Though it isn't confirmed that the two developments are linked together, Joginder Kumar has now been made the 2 SSP of Gorakhpur. Let me now bring in my colleague Alok for further updates on this. Alok, this is an extremely brutal account that has come to light from Gorakhpur. Help us understand this entire case. We understand that the two accused have been arrested, but there have been an interesting development of the SSP of Gorakhpur being transferred. Do we have any confirmation of these two cases being linked?
Well, if you see the cases, there are a spree of cases that are happening in various places across Uttar Pradesh. And these transfers, if you see, there are 12 transfers have happened. And these transfers have happened in the wake of all these cases where the negligence of police have been found. And in fact, in various cases, if you see in the Gorakhpur case as well, where in July month there was a boy who was kidnapped and then his body was recovered. Police failed to recover the boy safely. Then there were negligence found on the part of local police, and that's why there were 3 police officers were also suspended. So in these all these things that were happening, in the wake of that, these transfer has happened. And if you see in this case also, there is a minor who was abducted from her house and then she was raped. So at the same time, when the senior officers got to know about this case has happened, however, the police has now arrested both the accused persons. But by then, the thing has already happened. The girl was already victimized. So not only the rape, not only the murder, there are various other criminal cases that are happening, robbery, snatching. All these things are very much high in Uttar Pradesh. So these are the reasons that these kinds of transfer are happening. Police is trying to save themselves so that no question should be raised on them. But definitely the question will be raised on the functioning of Uttar Pradesh as the cases are still increasing daily. Back to you.
Absolutely. There will be questions raised on the functioning of the law and order in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Alok, request you to stay with us because this is not the first time where we are looking at this kind of brutality being seen in Uttar Pradesh. In fact, the Gorakhpur incident comes in the wake of 2 other disturbing incidents that have taken place of violence against women in the state, which took place just last week. And one of the incidents took place in Lakhimpur Kheri. A 12-year-old girl was brutally raped and killed. Her family, in fact, has alleged her body was mutilated. There has been another incident that has come in from Hapur in Uttar Pradesh, where a 6-year-old girl was raped by a man and is now in hospital in Meerut. We're getting some news that's breaking this minute of an encounter in Baramulla, where gunfight has broken near an ambush spot in Creeri, where 3 forces and personnel were killed in a militant attack since the counter operations were on, and now the militants may have been trapped. We're looking at an encounter and a gun battle that is underway at the Baramulla district at this point. One terrorist has been gunned down in this encounter. Remember, this is we're looking at those developments that are coming in, where a joint party of the CRPF and the police were in fact attacked. Now we're given to understand that there is a gun battle near the spot of the ambush. Remember, in this entire attack that has taken place in Baramulla, the police there suspecting the role of the LET at this point, and there are 2 CRPF jawans and 1 cop who were martyred. Right now, the gunfight has broken out near the very ambush spot in the Creeri area, where 3 police forces were killed in the militant attack. Since right now the counter operations are on, now the militants may have been trapped. So we are looking at that fierce gun battle that is taking place in the Baramulla district, the very area where, remember, 1 terrorist has been gunned down in this encounter, and in this unfortunate incident, 2 of the CRPF jawans and 1 cop has been martyred. Now remember, the joint party of the CRPF and the police were attacked by the militants, following which we saw 2 of the CRPF jawans and 1 cop were in fact martyred. And right now we're looking at the gun battle that has broken up near the very ambush spot where earlier that incident has taken place. And right now we're given to understand that the counter operations are on and now the militants may have been trapped. Let me bring in my colleague Mir Farid for further updates on this. Farid, can you take us through the details now coming in of this encounter that is taking place in Baramulla?
Well, yes, this encounter is underway as I speak to you. And 2 militants have been killed. I can update to you this much, that 2 militants have been killed. And in fact, this was a counter operation that was launched after 3 forces personnel were killed, including 2 CRPF jawans and a cop who were ambushed, killed by militants in an ambush on a Naka party in Creedy. Now, post that, the counter operations were on. And now being told that the militants were cornered moments back, and in the ensuing gunfight, 2 have been eliminated. And there are chances there could be 1 more, because if you remember, the IGP, while speaking to the media, said that they have inputs that 3 were involved in this attack. So 2 have been neutralized, and 1 more could be holed up.
All right, Farid, many thanks for joining us and giving us those breaking updates. Let's now shift focus and get you updates from down south as school admission process in standards 1 to 10 resume in Tamil Nadu. Mirror now, in fact, conducted a ground check of the situation. When the State Education Department states that the admission process is being done online because of the COVID situation in order to avoid crowding at the schools. Our ground check reveals that in most schools, especially the government-run schools, they have no idea about the online admission feature. Similarly, the parents there are also quite clueless about the online admission process and that they have been bringing the children along to the school amid this pandemic situation.
Students' admission for schools in Tamil Nadu has begun, and earlier emphasis was also been asked to give to standards such as 1st standard, 5th standard and 9th standard, but admission has begun for all standards except for 11th and 12th. You could see parents over here in a government school with their children. In fact, here a child is being admitted to the 1st standard and they are brought in the various certificates required such as birth certificate and Aadhaar card. The interesting fact here is that certain questions were brought in by experts who asked whether is it necessary for physical admission of students during this era of pandemic, and senior officials from the education department said that most people can opt for online enrollment. However, when we checked with several schools, we found out that the availability of online enrollment was not present. In fact, even in this school right we're standing, we don't see online enrollment. That's the reason various parents have come over there, and not just that, they've also brought their children and they are doing a physical enrollment. For some reason, the guidelines don't seem to be proper when it comes to admitting students at this hour. Even though the education minister has very clearly mentioned that emphasis would be given for online enrollment, you don't see that on ground. Physical enrollment is happening. Parents are bringing their children and they're getting their books. Yes, they are trying to maintain social distance. They are trying to wear the mask, but children are being brought to the school, and that is how they are being enrolled currently.
Monsoon fury has in fact wreaked havoc in Jammu. In fact, a portion of a road caved in near the Circular Road area following overnight heavy rains. Now, 3 cars that were parked on the road also came crashing down as well. The residents there claim that the portion has caved in after it underwent a reconstruction just 6 months ago.
रात को बारिश हुई है तो उसी के साथ ये 3-4 गाड़ियां जो चले गई है। ये कोई साल एक हुआ है इस दंगे की रिपेयरिंग हुई है, ये चले गया। उसके पहले भी यही हुआ, साल एक पहले भी हुआ था, ये तीसरी बार गई हैं। ये पता नहीं क्या काम करते हैं ठेकेदार, ये पूरी के पूरे ये साल एक भी नहीं ठहरता दंगा, हर बार ही होता है ये।
Overnight heavy rainfall has triggered landslide in this area. You can see because of rainfall the road has caved in. Many of these vehicles that were parked in this area, they had gone down, and right now the police has barricaded the area. Nobody is allowed to come nearby, because of which the road has already caved in and they do not want to take any chance. The people have been asked to stay away. These three vehicles, they were parked on the roadside. Because of the caving in of the road, all these vehicles have tumbled down, and right now you can see this area is being covered. The cops are deployed at different points. People are asked to stay away from this place because this is very dangerous to stand in this area because of the caving in of the road. It is very dangerous if one is going to stand on this side. So the people are being asked to stay on side. Let's speak to some of the eyewitnesses here who have seen what exactly happened. आप बताएंगे ये हुआ क्या था?
ये सर रात को 1:30 बजे गिरा। ये पूरी रात कल बारिश हो रही थी। ये बारिश के कारण रोड गिरा। ये एक साल में दूसरी बार गिरा। ये पहले भी यहाँ पे बना था, पहले भी गिरा था और अब भी बारिश हुई, अब भी गिरा।
So what he is saying that this is second time during the last 1 year that the road has caved in. They say that they had always tried to convey this thing to the administration, but administration has not taken enough measures, because people who are putting on the roadside, they are right now feeling threatened because of this heavy rainfall. They feel that if the road is caving again and again, there is every chances that the houses that are on the roadside, those are also in the danger mark. And you can see it's even after so many hours, nobody has come out to this place. They have already asked traffic people so that with the help of the crane, these vehicles can be taken out. They have already got in touch with the administration also. Some cops came out to this place, but as these vehicles have gone several hundred meters down this gorge, so they have to bring in crane. Only with the help of the crane, these vehicles can be taken out. But thank God, nobody was present there. There was no casualty at that point of time. This is the second time in the last 1 year when the landslide triggered in this area has led to the caving in of the road, and the vehicles have been damaged.
Meanwhile, heavy rains also pounded parts of Madhya Pradesh, bringing normal lives to absolute grinding halt. The visuals that you're seeing on your screens there are coming in from Jabalpur, where rainwater even entered the residential colonies there, leaving the streets completely waterlogged. Meanwhile, the computers could also be seen struggling and wading through rainwater. Now remember, incessant rainfall was also seen in several parts of Chhattisgarh as well, as CRPF soldiers carried the mortal remains of their colleagues on their shoulders while crossing the Injram River in Sukma. The CRPF Jawan's family was stuck with the body for more than 2 hours due to the floods after he passed away at a district hospital last night. Now we're looking at further updates coming in with Chhattisgarh, where we have seen heavy rains that have battered Chhattisgarh. This is a dramatic rescue operation that we are looking at, where the Indian Air Force chopper rescued a man at the Khutaghat Dam near Bilaspur in Chhattisgarh. Due to heavy flow of the dam, the Indian Air Force was requested to carry out a rescue operation. Some news that's breaking this minute, the latest update coming on the Chinese Hawala racket. Sources say that a lookout circular has now been opened against the Chinese suspect who's now being prevented from leaving the country. Now he is being questioned by the probe agencies, and he was allowed to go home after questioning. So that's the latest update now coming in with regards to the Chinese Hawala racket. Right now, a lookout circular that has been now opened against the suspect who goes by the name of Charlie Peng. He's a Chinese suspect in this, and he's now been prevented from leaving the country with a lookout circular that has now been opened against him. He is being questioned by the probe agencies with this regard. Meanwhile, he was allowed to go home after questioning. Remember, the IT department there currently probing the racket worth 100 crores. With that, we are slipping into a very short break. Back in just a bit. We're getting some news that's breaking this minute. Violence broke out at Shanti Niketan in the Birbhum district over a boundary wall dispute with the Vishwa Bharati University authorities. The visuals that you're seeing there are extremely dramatic. The locals had an objection to certain changes that the university authorities wanted to make. While the property belonged to the university, locals have been traditionally using it for winter fairs. Today, around 3,000 people assembled, vandalized bricks laid on the boundary wall and ransacked the university properties. No police, meanwhile, has been seen at the spot. Extremely dramatic visuals there coming in from the Birbhum district in West Bengal, and where there is a violence that has broken out at the Shanti Niketan in the Birbhum district, and this violence has broken out over a dispute with regards to a boundary wall at the Vishwa Bharati University authorities. Let me bring in my colleague Tamal for further updates on this. Tamal, extremely dramatic visuals there that we are seeing, almost a mob that is going on a rampage to destroy the property. What is the current situation at this point? What was the reason for this violence in the first place?
Well, the current situation is under control. There is police deployment. The mob has been dispersed. But then it happened in the morning when around 3,000 people had assembled on the ground which is adjacent to the Vishwa Bharati University. And this ground belongs to Vishwa Bharati University as a property. Now, for long, Vishwa Bharati had been planning to put up a boundary, skirt the entire ground with a boundary for better maintenance and security. But then locals had objected to it because it's the same ground which is also being used for the Posh Mela. It's a very famous cultural festival which happens every winter. But this time, the university authorities had decided to scrap that plan of Posh Mela and had also decided to put a boundary on that ground, in a way restrict public movement. So yes, that is the trigger, and people had realized there had been construction material laid down on the ground, which means the construction could have begun anytime soon. So the people came, they had vandalized the construction material. Okay. They had also ransacked the security arrangement which was done on the ground. And it all happened for good half an hour to 40 minutes. And thereafter police came and dispersed the mob. So at this point in time, we know the governor of the state has already tweeted, and he has suggested that the university authorities could not get in touch with the chief secretary, the home secretary, the SP of Birbhum, and also the chief minister. That's the allegation the governor is making, suggesting the situation is quite worrisome and that law and order should be maintained.
All right, Tamal, many thanks for joining us and giving us all those latest updates. In other news now, superstar Rajinikanth has now spoken on the health of legendary veteran singer S.P. Balasubramaniam, who is undergoing treatment at a private hospital in Chennai for COVID. Now, Rajinikanth wished him a speedy recovery. He said that he is glad to hear that the singer was no longer in a critical state.
50 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு மேல இந்தியாவில் உள்ள பல மொழிகளில் தன்னுடைய இனிமையான குரலாலே பாடி கோடி கோடி மக்களை மகிழ வைத்த மதிப்புக்குரிய எஸ்பிபி அவர்கள் கொரோனாவில் பாதிக்கப்பட்டு சிகிச்சை பெற்று அபாய கண்டத்தை தாண்டிட்டாரு அப்படின்னு கேள்வி பண்றதுல எனக்கு மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி. இன்னும் தீவிர சிகிச்சையில் இருக்கிற எஸ்பிபி அவர்கள் சீக்கிரம் குணமடைய வேண்டும் என்று எல்லாம் வல்ல இறைவனிடம் பிரார்த்திக்கிறேன். நன்றி.
Shifting focus now, getting you other news that is coming in. This is yet another incident there highlighting the apathy and what the families have to go through at this time. Of the family of a 71-year-old COVID suspect, deceased had to go through the worst kind of ordeal. The visuals that you're seeing there on your screens show how the man who had fever and he was suspected to have COVID died, but before getting any treatment. The family was not provided any ambulance to transport the body to the crematorium, and therefore, despite the deceased's wife pleading multiple times, there were no response and they had to ultimately carry the body on a bicycle. This is the worst kind of apathy that we are looking at this point, and time and again, we are looking at such kind of apathy there coming in from the state of Karnataka. This is an incident that has been reported from the Belagavi area in Karnataka, where a 71-year-old not only died before getting treatment, but when the family were were trying to take the body to perform the final rites, they were not even provided an ambulance. And at that time when they were running from pillar to post, the family were forced to carry the body on a bicycle all the way to the crematorium. Now, this is an incident that has come in from the Belagavi district in Karnataka, but this is not the first time that we're looking at such kind of incidents coming to light in Karnataka. Earlier as well, we have reported several such instances which show the kind of apathy amid the pandemic in Karnataka. Now, this is an incident that has come in from Belagavi, where this is a family of a 71-year-old COVID suspect deceased. He had in fact gone through the worst kind of ordeal. The man had fever. He was suspected to have COVID, but he died before getting any kind of treatment. But not just this, the family were not even provided any kind of ambulance to transport the body to the crematorium. And this is despite the deceased wife pleading, running from pillar to post, trying to arrange for an ambulance so as to take the body to the crematorium to perform the final rites. They were not provided with any kind of ambulance, and they were forced in this particular weather, while it's raining in Karnataka, to transport the body on a bicycle all the way to the crematorium. Let me bring in my colleague Neha Hebale for further updates on this. Neha, extremely tragic incident, once again highlighting the kind of apathy that we are witnessing. Not the first incident, Neha, that has come to light of how the families have to go through this kind of ordeal. Tell us about this incident. How long were the family made to wait for the ambulance to reach, which ultimately did not reach? And what has been the kind of reactions that this particular video has garnered on social media?
Well, Apurva, first of all, I did contact the deputy commissioner over there, or the district collector over there of the Belagavi district earlier this morning, and he, feigned ignorance about this and said that he will still have to look into it. He will have to investigate, but he did not have any idea about this incident having happened. Now, second and most importantly, to tell you what's really happened, you have this family over here that's, gone on to, of course, carry the mortal remains of another family member all the way from their house till the burial ground or till the cremation ground, only because there was no availability of an ambulance over there. None of the neighbors in the neighborhood were willing to help, simply suspecting that this patient must have been a COVID-19 patient. There's a lot of stigma attached around it. So it is, a very unfortunate state of affairs that even as Belagavi district has been flooding, as it has been raining in the district, you have this family having to push the mortal remains on a bicycle all the way till there. This nothing but, again, goes on to highlight the apathy over here in the district of Belagavi and the lack of medical infrastructure that's now forcing people to, actually transport the mortal remains in such a manner, Apurva.
All right, Neha, many thanks for joining us and giving us those details. We're getting some news that's breaking this minute. The latest update coming in the Kerala gold smuggling racket. The Ernakulam Principal Sessions Court granted permission to the ED for custodial interrogation of Swapna Suresh, Sarath and Sandeep Nair till August 26th. Meanwhile, the ED has stated in the court that Swapna Suresh had met M. Sivasankar, the ex-IT secretary, thrice during her visit to the UAE in 2018 and 2019. So those are the details now coming in. The Enforcement Directorate getting a nod for the custodial interrogation of the accused. The Ernakulam court has granted permission to the ED in the custodial interrogation of the three accused. Swapna Suresh, Sarath and Sandeep Nair has now been granted. Now, the ED has told the court that Swapna, in fact, met the ex-principal secretary M. Sivasankar thrice. And this is a very big development that has taken place with the ED stating in the court that Swapna Suresh had, in fact, met M. Sivasankar, who's the ex-IT secretary, thrice during her visit to UAE in 2018 and 2019. Let me bring in my colleague Vivek for further updates on this. Vivek, this is a big development now coming in with the ED getting further nod for custodial interrogation of the three accused. Tell us what happened in the court.
Exactly. The Enforcement Directorate has managed to get the custodial interrogation, of Swapna Suresh, Sarath and Sandeep Nair, till the 26th of the month. So ED has a very strong case in this issue. ED has clearly said that, the accused in this case is extremely influential, and if granted bail, has
Okay.
has the power to influence the people in the higher ups, and hence cannot be granted bail. And also they require the custodial interrogation of the three accused, because remember, Swapna, Suresh, Sandeep and Sarit are the main accused in this particular case, and they are supposed to be the mediatory who have been in this case right from the beginning. They have been associated with all the other main accused in this particular case, and hence the custodial interrogation is necessary in this particular case, and hence ED has granted custodial the custody of all the three people till the 26th of this month. What the plea also said that Swapna Suresh had met with M. Shivashankar, the then the IT secretary to the chief minister, thrice in Dubai, in UAE, thrice, and in 2018 October when they met, that it was regarding the floods, especially during the Life Mission project and other issues.
Okay.
So hence, the custodial interrogation is necessary. There is no other option, and hence the court has granted the custodial interrogation in this particular case. Remember, it's a very, very important case, not just relating to the gold smuggling, but also there are very, very clear evidences that has been established in this case where the accused do have connections with the political top notches in this particular in the state. So hence, if they at all they have been granted bail, there are chances that the evidences could be tampered, and hence they cannot be granted bail, and that's the reason the ED has clearly said that they need their custodial interrogation.
All right, Vivek, many thanks for joining us and giving us all those big breaking updates. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of The Big Story. News and updates coming up on the other side.